internship positions at this time, having an updated resume is very important. Okay, it will help you, and maybe maybe applying for a few more internships will also help, because this is a game of numbers. As we will discuss later on. Yeah. Um, and I think my last tip that I can give to you is probably you know maybe discuss with your internship companies on the potential of remote work. So you can still continue doing your internship, while being in your hometown in Penang, while you work in a job in KL. Because I know a lot of companies have started offering that,
Oh,
and
okay.
yep, yep.
Okay, thank you.
So
I know
yeah, can
I'll
I
be
just
very
check with?
like, how to am I going to get interstate? It doesn't seem possible.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I know it's tough at the start, but once you hash those details out with your parent company, it would be good, smooth sailing. In fact, they like it. If more people wanted to work for them. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Do
right. Shavin,
like
are we
All
good?
right.
like
Yeah. We're gonna start
yeah.
now already because the YouTube I think is settled. So yeah, the link
Okay.
is up as well. So I think yeah, we can start now.
Penang.
Okay.
Okay.
So first and foremost, good morning everyone. It's a great morning today,
So have coffee.
and welcome to GoSmack webinar session this morning.
Yep.
So before we start, let me introduce myself as the MC for today. My name is Sarvin Menon from GoSmack. You can address me as Sarvin, or you can address me as Magic Mike. Just a joke. So okay, our topic for today is what
So
I know
yeah,
job
I'll be
hunting.
very like how
Topic is interesting and it's an interesting topic, especially for those of you who are just finished your studies and you are just a fresh graduate.
to am I
So
going
okay
to
guys,
get
first of all, I would
interstate? It
like
doesn't
to
seem possible.
congratulate
yeah, yeah, yeah.
every one of
I know
you who
it's
have
tough at
taken a
the
wonderful
start.
initiative to join today's webinar session because it's a Saturday morning and not many will join, but you guys took a great initiative to join this webinar session, not only for yourself but also for the good of your future. And okay, before we kick off our presenters today, a few quick reminders so that we could learn and enjoy today's webinar session without any interruption. So there are some rules that you guys have to follow while enjoying this webinar session. And first of all, please remember to mute your mic so that your secret, your gossips, or whatever you do in the background is not being heard by all of us, all right? So make sure to keep your mic mute unless you have any questions to ask. Second, if there's any internet problem or anything, please keep calm. Don't scream, don't leave, chill. We have the professionals here to handle all the technical issues. Okay. And third, please show a lot of love to our two speakers today. See, they are really good looking and they took a lot of time and effort for you guys today. So please show a lot of love, clap, do anything, make sure they feel appreciated. And next, we would like to invite all the participants to join our Global Network Initiative, also known as the GNI. So now you'll see some QR code popping up right now. Just any minute. Gina, the queue is supposed to be any minute now. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's the QR code you guys have to join. And yeah, scan right now, join our Global Network Initiative group. So the main objective of this group is first of all to learn, interact, participate in webinars and activities conducted by peers, industry, and leaders. Next, you will get access to webinar links, mentoring, resource, and support from all of us. Third, you will also get the material of presentation and the webinar recording link will be shared in the GNI WhatsApp group. Okay, with all of that done, let me introduce our two speakers for today. So first of all, we have Mr. Vinod Jayapalan, a solution sales specialist from Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and Mr. Navin Jayapalan, a Linux analyst from ExxonMobil Malaysia. Please give them some online claps and right.
Hey guys.
Great. That's great. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. So perhaps okay, before I introduce our great moderator, I think we all should take a group photo. Okay, so all of us right now, all of you guys there, please on your camera and show us a bright smile. So we take a group photo and then we move on. Okay.
I still see a lot of people not turning on their camera
Yeah,
yet.
come on, guys. Remember
Yeah,
my
come on,
second
don't be
rule?
shy, don't be
Yeah,
shy. The
yeah.
first thing
Remember my
about getting
second
a
rule?
job
Yeah,
is to show yourself, right?
correct. I remember
Yeah.
my
True.
second rule, guys. Encourage these two
Right,
wonderful
right.
speakers. So yeah,
Saturday morning faces. Hello,
yeah,
everybody. Good morning.
Hello. Yes, 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 yeah. Don't be shy, don't be shy. First step to get your interview, to get your internship, to get a job is to show yourself, right? If you don't show up, there's never going to be a job offer. You got to show up. Yeah, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, please
great,
just
great.
yeah, quick so that we have a group photos. Salvin, you take over.
Okay. We are getting a lot of people to turn on their camera first. We give them like another 10 seconds, 10 seconds, and then
Okay.
we'll take a great group photo. No,
Yeah,
just to
because
treasure, yeah, it's all memories. We can, treasure it.
correct, correct. And because if Vinod and Naveen cannot know who you are later when you try to connect them on LinkedIn, right? They don't know who to talk to, right? They need to
That's
put the
true.
name and the face together. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So if
right.
you write to Naveen, write to Vinod after this webinar, at least they know who you are, how they can link the face to the name, right? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we are good. So maybe I'll give another 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I think one of our group mate will be taking the photo. The handsome Kit Kat kid. Kid, we follow your cue, kid.
Right.
Okay, so guys, remember, smile bright, show your teeth if possible. Kid, are you there?
I guess I will just take over,
All
Salvin.
right, okay,
Okay.
Gina, thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Just give the cue.
Okay, so there are few slides since many people are here. So first slide, smile.
Okay, just smile for all the slides, guys.
Yeah, just smile. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Next slide. 3, 2, 1. Also next slide. Oh. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Oh, there's so many slides today. So you all have to smile. 3, 2, 1. Okay,
I
done.
know some of you have different poses for different pictures. Okay.
Okay. We're done, right?
Okay.
Salvin.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right,
Thank
we
you.
are done. Oh my God, my teeth, my jaws have been smiling for the last every slide. Okay. So before we pass it to our presenters, I would like to welcome our moderator today, the one and only, the great Mr. Michael Lai. Hey guys, don't forget your online cheers and clap. Come on.
Woo.
Right, great.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you, Salvin. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Savin. Today is not for me. Today is first of all, thank you everyone. Thank you, Savin, and most importantly, thank you for to Vinod as well as Navin who have taken the time to actually share with you all, and also thank you for all of you who take the time to join and to interact, to engage. Also, hopefully along the way, learn from each other as well. Yeah, while they're still young, but they have a lot of, I guess, experience in terms of their journey so far that I believe can truly benefit all of you who are looking for a job, who are looking for internship, and for those of you who are preparing for your life and career journey. That's absolutely critical. I especially like when Naveen and also Vinod shared slightly earlier to some of your questions about why it's good to always have pre-internship. Okay, you probably have not used the word, but if you look at their bio data, and look at what they are going to talk about, some of things that you need to have is actually to prepare yourself even better. And from an employer's perspective, we always like to hire young people who are self-starter. We like to hire young people who takes the initiative. to start things. We like to hire people who have the right mindset, right attitude, right? Who doesn't mind doing things, taking one more step further, yeah, and take the extra mark compared to everyone else. So with that, hopefully, yeah, many of you will be very successful in your job and career journey. So with that, I will pass over to Vinod to start off the session together with his actually both of them brothers, if you're still not aware, right? And I'm very proud of them because both of them are still very young and they're really stepping forward to paying forward and share with you all. So with that, I'll pass it over to Vinod. All right, let's give Vinod and Navin a big round of applause. Savin, let's have that big round of applause here for them.
Yeah, guys, come on, let's clap for them.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks,
Thank
Michael.
you,
Thanks,
thank you.
Sarvin.
No worries.
Okay, I will start presenting lah in a minute. Are you able to share my screen? See my screen, sorry.
Yes, we can.
Yep,
We can.
yep.
Okay, hi everybody. Good morning. Okay. I just wanna thank you again for coming on Saturday morning. Yeah. So today, my name is Vinod JP or Vinod Jayapalan. Okay, I'm here because I want to be a part of your exciting new work journey. Okay. Um, just to let you know, I'm also pretty big on LinkedIn. I mean, I believe in LinkedIn. Yeah. I believe in the power of LinkedIn. So this is my QR code, and if you guys, I would advise you guys to connect with me on LinkedIn, so we can have more discussions about your career. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to speak to me. Okay, and that is my ID there, right? Okay, so just to break a little bit of ice, I know you have webinars, right? So many webinars these days, right? Okay, so the thing about webinars is you have many types of webinars, different types of experiences. So these are what webinars look like these days, in the waiting room, and then when you are at your webinar, etc. Uh, you never know how things could be in a webinar, so you want to make sure that you learn the best that you can or absorb as much as you can in a webinar, right? And I see some of you are already laughing because this is very relatable. Don't worry, it's the same in the office sometimes, it's just with a different crowd of people. Yeah. And yeah, um so I would want to jump to the first point here, okay? In After looking at a study with jobstreet.com, we look at fresh grads and the reasons why they're unemployed. And it's actually very shocking that 68% will ask for an unrealistic salary at the start. Now, what is an unrealistic salary? It's basically a salary to fund your luxurious lifestyle. Fresh grads who want to make 10K or something like that. It's an exaggeration, okay? Or something higher, away from the market value. Apart from that, a lot of fresh grads also don't get employed because they have a poor command of the English language, okay, and also poor communication skills. Now, why is this important? As you know, emails are all very important. Phone calls are important in business. And if you write a wrong email or if you write an email that's not constructed properly, you're going to cause a lot of confusion. So employers don't want this, and they encourage fresh grads to build on their talent. But don't worry, guys, this is all workable. You can learn to improve your language over time. And the last two reasons are, of course, you can see fresh graduates are choosy, and they also have an issue with their attitude. Okay, it's a very gray area, but at the end of the day, out of all five of this, it can be developed, and you can get it changed, and etc. So we've looked at the reasons why fresh grads are not employed. Let's look at the reasons on why fresh graduates are employed. So, of all the fresh grads that are employed, what are their competitive advantages? So 39% of candidates had a leadership position. Now, why is a leadership position important in a very, very fast-paced world where so many things are happening in a company? You are expected to learn to be on your feet. you need to know, of course, you do get some guidance, but you will know how to speak to the right person at the right time, ask the right questions at the right time, and take charge of a project. And the rest of them is, of course, having high academic scores is good because you know the things that are happening in your company, the business, and the technology. Next up is this in your involvement in extracurricular activities and volunteerism. This is important for MNCs because MNCs have a very good work-life balance. Okay, and they don't really like the candidates that just attend events to get certificates and then come back. They want students that are involved in their events. So when they have like a bowling event or when they have a corporate social responsibility event, they would have that expectation for you to have that culture to be involved and contribute to the company. So it's a big factor, and a lot of recruiters tell me that combined it is almost 36% of the reasons why these grads are hired. Okay, so I've taken a look at that. A bit about my journey. Okay, I started off in 2012 and 13 when I got offered to do petroleum engineering in UTP. So yes, shout out to UTP. Thank you. It's been an awesome school. Yeah. And it was a good 4 years. Okay. And then when I graduated, I mean, in between, I did do 2 internships. Okay. I did a pre-internship in my second year semester break, and that was for, I think it was for 2.5 months. Yeah. So 10 weeks, right? It was with a company called KPOC, Kebabangan Petroleum Operating Company. And then shortly after that, in 2016, I did an internship with Schlumberger, okay, the oil and gas company, for about 8 months. This is a mandatory one with UTP's career structure. Okay. After you do your 8-month internship, I graduated, and as you know, the oil crisis happened, and it affected a lot of jobs at the time. So what happened was I applied to my first job in Shangri-La, okay, and it was a fun job because I was in the reservations team. Now I just have to say something. Whenever it comes to jobs, right, any job that you do is important. Okay, whether it could be working in a Tesco or working as a barista in Starbucks, right? Okay, you learn important lessons that will help you in your job in the future or when you build your career. So one thing I learned from Shangri-La is I was amazed that um, if you offered an amazing product or service, people are willing to pay the premium for that service. And Shangri-La taught me that. So I took that lesson and I brought it on to my next career. So following that is when I got employed in HPE as part of the graduate trainee program. I'm here for 3 years now. And as you know, there was a question that was in the group previously. How did I transition my career from petroleum engineering to something not related at all, IT? And the answer to that is yes, it was a difficult choice at the start, but I told myself that the tech skills are learnable. When you enter a company, you can learn and you need to have that attitude to grow and be open to any new changes. So when I was in the company, I was actually I was excited about the growth and I learned a lot. Following after that, we take a look at my future plans. I'm planning to do a few more certifications, get more opportunities to grow and etc. Okay, so just a quick example of my 3 years, right? So this is me and my team and a lot of activities. So the thing about this management trainee program is I had a few rotations. I was in the tech installation team, I was in the sales team, I was with management, I was with the exhibitions team, I was with marketing, training, I was with the team building committee, I was also with the public sector. So it's good to move around in different departments or even socialize with them and get to know them in that sense lah. So 3 years has been going good, and I encourage you all to you know um, be sociable when you are looking for career opportunities. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Very simple, just 5 things lah. Okay, I will talk to you about mindset changes. I will talk to you about LinkedIn tips, and I will talk to you about job hunting techniques. Okay. My brother Naveen will talk to you about setting goals and interview tips. So this webinar today is not purely on a theoretical basis. I want to give you a lot of practical steps that you can take, so you can immediately implement it lah. So let's move to the first thing, mindset changes. Okay. So I want everybody to know that it's never too late to achieve anything you set your mind to. Even if you have a low CGPA, even if you have a health issue, even you have a problem, some kind of hurdle that has affected you in your life, do not worry, because the world of employment is a big world. Big things can happen. Do not believe the naysayers and the haters out there. Okay? You have the power to change your own life. In a year or two, you could be, in a completely different country, working and earning a different salary. You could be, leading your own team, based on your caliber. All right. So first piece of advice, proactive candidates are always valued. Do not be shy when you're reaching out. Okay, don't be shy. You have literally nothing to lose. If you shoot that email, if you shoot that LinkedIn, okay, um, I just have to say that there is nothing to be shy about. Okay. Now, first question: what happens when you decide on a career change? Okay. So, first thing is you need to ask a few questions to yourself. Ask yourself, what is the job about? And if you don't know what the job is about, right? One tip from me is head over to LinkedIn and just type that job out in the search bar. And you reach out to people in LinkedIn that have the same job title. For example, sales development representative or process engineer. Type it out and just go randomly chat with a few people and ask them, how does your day to day look like? Okay, and then you need to understand that this learning that you get from them, this conversation will do two things. Will network with them, number one, and number two will also tell you that is this job the right job for you or not. I've also covered that these skills are learnable, and you definitely need to have the right attitude, grow and get this job, right? Okay. For that, I received a question from Matthew in the chat box, right? So he asked me what do I think about the petroleum engineering degree now. I uh, I I know that the job industry is really tough, but I feel that the petroleum engineering degree is still useful because of global energy demands. There will always be a need for oil engineers out there. Um, but even though that the demand might be decreasing due to renewables, that's perfectly okay. I think the degree is still a good choice. All right. Second question. Okay. Um, it's a sensitive topic. It's on starting salary. Okay. Many fresh grads have this question. I know I don't know whether I should take this job because it doesn't pay me enough. I don't know whether I should take this job because I'm not sure if I'm compensated well enough. So my advice to you is this: you have to research about your market average. Okay, you need to go to websites like Glassdoor, PayScale, JobStreet. Sign up for an account and look for the average salary data. You could even tune into the Malaysian magazine Graduan, which is purely for fresh graduates and young graduates, right? That give you an analysis of basic salaries by sector. Okay, so why you need to do this research is important because you need to tailor it to your goals. Okay, and one tip from me is if you have a higher starting salary, it will help you when you get your first increment. And I feel this is important. I will show you shortly. Okay. Next up, I will also talk to you about negotiation of your salary. At this young age, where we have little to no experience, I would strongly advise you not to negotiate your salary because you shouldn't be too picky. But at the same time, you need to know your worth by studying about the market average, so you're not taken advantage of. All right. Okay. So an example of some salary data, right? This is just simulated data. It doesn't mean anything. So why starting with a higher salary is important is because when you look at your 3-year plan, right? In your first year, you may expect, if you get a 5% increment, or in your second year you get a 7%, or in your third year you get 10%. These details can change depending on the company, lah. Okay, but you will see that by the end of year 3, company A's the salary from company A was around that price, and the salary in company C is around this price. So you can use this um, as a rough idea on which companies you want to work in and which companies you don't want to, if the financial aspect is a big reason why you're working lah. Okay, so some example data for you. Next question. How do you pick the right management training program for you? Many MNCs out there, many programs. How do you choose? So my advice is to take a look at the duration of the program. Is this a 6-month program? Is this a 1-year program, or is this a 2-year program? Sometimes could be longer also, Um, the good things about a management training program is it normally will be a permanent job instead of a contract. And the company wants to take a vested interest in you to grow you so you can be, they can develop you to become a manager in the future. So a few questions to ask is, are there job rotations that are offered? Are there different departments? And my advice is, of course, if you want to know about a program, like if you want to know about CIMB's Complete Banker program or HBE's graduate program, you can type it out on LinkedIn, and a lot of people have listed it out there. And they can tell you their experiences in that grad program. I have friends who are in the Nestle graduate trainee program, and they have told me about their experiences, and it's a matter of networking and linking to the right people at the right place and time. So you need to also know what the job scope is for the grads. Would it be something that you're interested to not just get another job, but to build a career in? And the last thing that you can speak to them is, what is your next move after the program? So after your 1 year, what's going to happen after that? So this is very important because I know a lot of companies who start management training programs, but when they get their employees in, they don't really have a plan for them and they hash it out. So you want to be in a position where they have a structure for you. And once they have that structure, you'll be able to follow that and go with the flow. And even if they don't have a structure, you being proactive, you will help them by telling them what you expect in the role, and you grow with the company. All right. I have another question here. Okay, which is, I'm not getting any callbacks or interviews. What am I supposed to do? Okay, as you know, ghosting is very common among HR. It's a lot of people who will get you interviews, or get you callbacks, or write to you as an email, but then they don't follow up with it. So my advice is, this is completely normal. Okay, if it does happen, you just have to accept the fact that um, there may be a possibility that the job has been fulfilled already, or they just find that your resume is not a good fit. Okay, that's okay, that's all right. Acceptance is the first step of growing, right? And also, some of these recruiters can also get very busy, so sometimes it just gets lost in all those emails, so that's okay. But in order to stand out, I have a few tips. First is to change up your resume design. If you feel that you're not getting callbacks, it could be because your resume does not push out your best traits and your best strengths for you to get that particular job. My brother always believes that it's good to highlight relevant information for the job that you're applying to. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, sure. Okay. And then next is to change the frequency of your job applications. So one piece of advice is, if you are only applying as single digits, per week, you should maybe double it up to maybe like 10 to 20 jobs, yeah, per week, or even more than that. As you know, it's a game of numbers. Of 100 jobs that you apply for, you may get a callback of 20, or you may get a callback of 10. And that's great, having 10 interviews and then following after that, you shortlist and you get 3 offers. It's good. So it all starts from the beginning when you aim higher, and then as it cascades down, you will have more options. So don't limit yourself, and keep applying. Okay, next up is basically the same, to change your profile and details inside to be more relevant to jobs you're applying to. Okay, I'm not advising you to tweak your resume to put things that are not true. Always be truthful about your resume, okay, and just learn to design it a little differently if you feel you're not getting any callbacks. All right. Okay, so and last question for mindset is, my CGPA does not meet the criteria. So I want everybody to understand that a lot of MNCs do recommend you to have a certain pointer for you to apply. Okay. But you need to accept the fact that your CGPA is not going to change. Okay. And more often than not, right, there are actually many companies out there, okay, that don't mind a lower CGPA if you can make it up with your other skills. They really don't. If they find that you are an exceptional candidate in leadership, or you have good ways of working in a team, or they like the chemistry in the interview, they will give you a chance to be employed. So do not let the CGPA alone stop you from applying if you don't meet the criteria. Like I said, you don't really have anything to lose when you submit that resume. You know, you are at the point of your highest potential in your life now. So please make use of it, okay, guys? All right. So next up is I'm going to talk about some LinkedIn tips. Before that, I can take one question before that, or shall Michael? Should we wait for the end of the Q&A for the questions, or are we good to go now?
We're good to go now, so that we can make it interactive as they ask. This is all right. Yeah, no problem. It just yeah. I think there's some questions along the way, right?
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So
So can
let's see.
somebody read me one question, because I'm on the presentation.
Yeah, if I finish my engineering degree, how do I switch industry to, for example, the finance industry? I think you briefly covered. If you want to add on it, by all means, please.
So
So this particular question was I guess Andrew is doing his engineering degree, right? Yeah, so he wants to switch to finance industry. What does he do?
So Andrew, a good tip is, of course, be open-minded. You can enter the financial industry. In fact, many financial industries like engineers, because we know how to work with graphs, we know how to work with statistics, and it's numbers in the left and numbers on the right, lah. So I feel that it's a good place to be also. Don't worry about learning, because there's plenty of resources within the company, and also plenty of resources on the internet to learn. you know Chances are going into a company as a non-finance graduate is good, because if you learn at a really fast rate, your company will be impressed with you, because you know so much about the finance industry even though you're not in it. So you control your growth, and you control how you impress your new team lah. Okay, Andrew? All right.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I think Naveen also has answered Andrew as well from a different perspective, which is very good. Yeah, if there's, I think we can continue for now. Then as we go along, then we can take the questions. Yeah.
Okay. So, as you know, LinkedIn is a very big job portal. Okay, many people get jobs in it, and here are a few tips on how to make the algorithm work in your favor. So, I have a formula here, right? So, first of all, is you need to complete your profile, and then you add your resume with your keywords, and then you'll be able to rank number 1 to number 10 on your HR job posts. So what does this mean? Yeah. So complete profile means on LinkedIn, you need to make sure you have a status called All Star. All Star means that you complete your profile. You put in your education info, your experience, volunteer, recommendations, you just make it a complete profile, and you get the All Star status. The next thing you can do is to rank higher is keywords in your resume. So for example, if you are joining an engineering role. So you probably have keywords like manufacturing, process engineering. If you are in the business role, like business development is a keyword, sales is a keyword, revenue is a keyword. So adding these keywords somewhere in your resume, in your key achievements, and also even in your LinkedIn profile is important. It helps you to rank higher when it comes to the algorithm. If you need some ideas on what kind of keywords are, look at the jobs that you're applying for. Even within those jobs, they have all those, like, skills. In LinkedIn, they have that tab called skills or keywords. Once you look at those jobs, you can use that to edit and feed it into your resume and edit it. So what this does is, after you get these two done correctly, you will be able to rank higher on the HR post. So when a HR individual downloads your resume, right, on a job post, okay, you will rank higher because you fit the job more. The algorithm actually, offers them the closer matches, okay, as the first few people. And they are also, the HR guys are also human. They cannot process many resumes. So if the algorithm can help present to you the first 10 which are the most suited, that's probably the ones they're going to put the most effort on and move forward with. Okay, there's a handy useful tip here lah, guys. Okay, all right, next up is I have this one, don't worry, I'll be sharing the slides with you. I have this one handy 64 tips on how to make your LinkedIn good lah. Okay, make it better. So you can improve your profile, you can improve it through messaging, search, your gallery, going through groups, improving your connections, getting endorsements, and also recommendations. Very useful. So my favorite quote is, your network is your net worth. Okay, the more people you know, the more opportunities you get. The more opportunities you get, the more ladders you can climb, and the faster you can, achieve your goals. So a good LinkedIn profile will make it easier for you to stand out, and it makes the job easier for the recruiters. These are the two things that we want when we're in a job hunt. Okay? We want to get that job interview, and we want to get calls more. Okay. Next up. Yeah, so a little bit about LinkedIn. If you don't know how the connection system works, I will explain to you quickly. So you got first connection, second connection, and third connection. So first connection is your friend, basically the first person you add. Your second connection is your friend of a friend. And your third connection is a stranger, somebody that you have not connected with, or you don't know. So the good thing about LinkedIn is, whenever you post something or like or comment, the proximity will be even until your third connection. So a lot of people in your network will see your career activity and all. So it's a beautiful platform to be heard on. So I would advise a lot of you to be active on it. Another good feature is, of course, I think you all know this, is the hashtag open to work feature. So if you set your LinkedIn profile to be visible, your profile pic will have a green band on it that says open to work. It will tell your LinkedIn recruiters to be to funnel and spotlight down to you because you're looking for a job. All right. So we will move into the next slot, which is job hunting techniques. Okay, so apart from LinkedIn, there are many other places for you to also to explore and find out about jobs. So first is Facebook groups. You would be surprised at how many people and how big these communities are. And even last night when I was on this portal, okay, I was looking, and in every 1 hour, every 30 minutes, you have people posting about new opportunities, whether it's internships, jobs, whatsoever. So I would advise you guys to be a part of this community, and keep applying, guys. Right? It's the power of the groups. Right. So these are two of them that I've noticed. Okay. Next one is, of course, how to improve your resumes. So I would recommend a website called Canva, because I think a lot of you know about Canva also. They have very nice resume templates, and they're all they're free templates. But if you want some assistance on and some advice on building a resume, you have third-party resume services like Dr. Resume. It's a Malaysian company, and they also help with helping you to build a good resume, right? Okay. I will also speak to you guys about this tool called Apollo.io. So what Apollo is okay, let's just say you want to reach out to people, but you don't have their contacts, you don't have their phone numbers, you don't have their email address whatsoever. So Apollo offers a free plan. All you have to do is just sign up, and then you'll be able to, I think, get 15 contacts free, monthly or something like, or weekly or something like that, right? So what you do is you just type in the name of the company, the country, and the department, and you'll be able to get their contact information. Although some contact information will not be there all the time, but you can get an email address and shoot your shot um, by asking them for a job placement or an internship opportunity. So reaching out is important, and you have many other tools like Rocket Reach is another good brand. And then I think Apollo is one of them, and I think there was another one called. I'm not too sure. I have to check on this and update the slides lah. But yeah, you can use this to do this, and this Apollo has a handy LinkedIn extension. So if you were to download the LinkedIn extension while you are browsing LinkedIn, when you find a person's profile, you will be able to get their contact information together lah, under Apollo. All right. So next is I will talk to you about job portals. Okay, so apart from LinkedIn, Malaysian companies do advertise on these guys a lot. These common ones are like Monster, Job Street, Warp Jobs, Mau Kerja. You know. Now I know what is on your mind. Probably be thinking, I saw the same job in another recruitment portal, right? Why should I apply twice? So the answer to that is different. You see, different recruiters, okay, will be advertising the same job. So if you happen to have a recruiter or a company that has overflowed or is way too busy in one job portal, if you applied for the same job in another job portal, chances are another recruiter will reach out to you and get back to you with this. Okay. So I'd advise all of you to create a profile so you can improve your chances to get the same job. That way it also shows that you're kind of proactive because you really want the job. If if the job application is coming from 7 different sources or 6 different sources, it's that mindset lah that human resource sees in a person. Okay. Now after job portals is now you want to know a little bit more about job descriptions. So I would advise you to look at job forums in Malaysia. You'd be surprised that Lawyat Forum has many, posts under the jobs and careers. So, you can look at many interview discussions. You can look at job openings. You can look at job descriptions. So, for example, is some people will post um, on their experiences in going for a Nestle interview or a Petronas interview. How does the induction day look like? So all these details will be inside here from all your seniors from 2015, 2019, and all be inside forums like this. So advise everybody to be inquisitive and research. Another one is also a global community called Quora. This website is for community questions and answers. So the good thing about multinational companies is when they have an interview process, it is a standardized interview process. For example, a company like P&G, okay? If they have a system where it's a 3-step interview, it will be the same in Singapore, it will be the same in Malaysia, it's the same in Thailand, Indonesia, and whatsoever. So even if you don't get your answer in a Malaysian community, you will get your answer from a global community like Quora. So they'll tell you lah, the interview has the first step, which is a psychology test, and then you have to do like a test on your mathematics, or then a first round interview, second round interview, and they give you the steps lah, the story on how it goes. So that will conclude my portion here. I know it's a lot, guys, but if you have any questions, I don't mind taking one question now on this.
I think along the way there are quite a few questions, but I think Navin has been answering them very proactively as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Maybe we can go to, I guess, one pass. Is it time for Navin to chip in, or how
Yes,
would you like
yes.
to do it?
I
Okay.
think I am done with my portion already. I hope you guys learned a lot, and I will now pass it over to Naveen. Would you want me to present, or do you want to share the
Uh,
screen?
yeah, you can continue presenting on this.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right. So I'll pass it over
Okay.
to you. So Naveen, take it over.
okay. Thank you very much, big bro. Or how we call it in the Indian household, Anna. Thanks, Anna.
Hey, no
All
worries.
So,
right.
so hello everyone. My name is Naveen Jayapalan. Right. I am here today because I know the struggle of a fresh grad. I recently graduated. I would say about 2 years ago, back in 2019. But we can call it 1 year ago because let's face it, 2020 didn't exist for all of us. 2020 was kind of stolen from all of us. So I'm just not going to count 2020, all right? So yeah, here's my QR code for LinkedIn. Please reach out to me, connect with me on LinkedIn so that, we can have engaging and meaningful discussions. All right, moving on to the next slide. Okay, so a little bit about my journey. So I started my degree in 2015 in UTP as well, University of Technology Petronas, right? And I didn't do the common engineering program that they usually advertise there, which is most of the time petroleum engineering or chemical engineering. Instead, I took a different route and I applied for a degree in information technology, IT, right? And the unique thing about UTP is at the end of every year, we have a 4 month semester break. So that's a really long break. Usually, basically, it's one entire semester off, right? And so in the first year of my degree life, after I completed my first year, during that 4 months break, what I did was instead of going for a job or pre-internship or applying for a part-time job, I actually decided to go for an exchange program, right? I volunteered as an English teacher in Taiwan, right, under this organization called ISAC. So you can check with your own universities if they have programs like this. And let me tell you that this volunteer program actually really helped me a lot when it came to applying for jobs because from all the other candidates that were applying, this was one thing that employers always ask me, oh, hey, I see that you went to Taiwan. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Because it's different. I was there 2 months. I was in Taiwan alone. I don't understand the language. I don't speak Mandarin fluently at all, to be in fact, but I guess I somehow survived, right? So moving on, in my second year of my degree life, when I had my next 4 month semester break, I had a lot of my friends who were going for part-time jobs, making money, coming back to uni in third year with easily 10K in their accounts. Uh, but that's not what I wanted. So what I wanted was I wanted to really beef up my CV, my portfolio. So what I did is I proactively applied for a pre-internship. Pre-internship is it's not a common word you hear, right? So I applied to this company called Silver Lake Mobility, and I was offered the role of a project management intern. So it's not so much a technical role in IT, but it's more understanding how a project manager works. So I felt it was really useful because it was I was branching out to a non-technical role during that pre-internship. So it was a short 4 month internship, learned a lot. And when I moved on to my third year, when I actually had to apply for a credited internship as part of the university's program, I put this pre-internship in my resume, and I was really, really fortunate because I applied to ExxonMobil, which is a really big oil and gas company, and they saw this and they were interested. They said, "Hey, we'd like to offer you an internship position as an IT security monitoring intern." So the interview was on the phone, yeah, and that lasted for about 8 months. uh, After that, I had to go back to university and complete my final year. Fortunately, as I was completing my final year, ExxonMobil actually came to my university to have a campus recruitment. So I went there, went to apply for it, and then when I went to the interviews, when I got the interview, I went there. I was like, hey guys, I actually interviewed you guys, so I'm really interested to be part of the family back again, and it was nice, yeah. So uh, I was quite fortunate to be able to get the opportunity. As you can see, I'm currently at my first job. I am a Linux analyst at ExxonMobil Business Support Center, Malaysia. Um, Very recently, I just got certified as a Microsoft Azure administrator. So those of you who don't know what Azure is, it is Microsoft's new cloud platform. Everything is moving to the cloud. So yeah, that's something interesting. And my future plans are, of course, to continue getting more certifications and new opportunities to grow my career in ExxonMobil.
On track to 3 stars lah after this, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So moving on, the next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about setting goals. This is a really interesting topic because I really understand the frustration as a fresh graduate when you're nearing your final year or when you're applying for internships. You need to set a goal because there's so many things happening at that point of time. So I'm going to give you an example of what situation happened to me when I was in final year. All right. But before that, let's go to the next slide first. There's one quote that I'd like to share with everyone because everyone knows quotes always make things look more professional. So obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. So always remember, it's important to set a goal. And if there are any obstacles along the way, it just means you're afraid of that. And it's something you can definitely overcome. It's not something that's impossible to overcome. Right? This quote is by a great man called Henry Ford. So yeah, Henry Ford, nice guy. Okay, moving on. Okay, so let's talk about setting goals, right? What type of goals you want to set, what basically setting goals is all about. So what you want to do first, okay, as a student, as a final year student or a student applying for the internship, is you need to be clear about what you want, right? If you are a student or a final year student, right, what is your main goal? Are you going to be focusing on your FYP, on your final year project? Are you going to be focusing on your academics? Or are you going to be applying for jobs, job hunting, looking for jobs? Or are you going to be someone who's going to be doing both at the same time? So for me, I would say that when I was in that situation, I really wanted to focus on my final year project, and I really wanted to focus on beefing up my grades, making my transcript look nice, with consistent alphabets. I didn't want it to have too many alphabets on it. So what I did was I just focused fully on my project, my final year project, and I only started applying for jobs after I graduated. But I've also had friends who managed to do both, right? And they still got employed in pretty big companies as well. So that's the first thing. You need to be clear about what you want, right? So let's say you're someone now who wants to apply for jobs. You finish your FYP, you're fresh in the market, you're looking for jobs. So what you want to do is you want to set a daily target when you're applying for jobs. So I remember when I was looking for an internship back in 2017, right? 2017. It was during the Hari Raya holidays. For the entire 2 weeks, I just kept spamming applications on JobStreet, spamming applications on LinkedIn. You got to be consistent. You got to be dedicated, disciplined to keep applying. Because out of maybe 100 jobs that you apply, the harsh reality is maybe only 10 will get back to you. From that 10, maybe only 3 will get back to you in an actual interview. From that 3, you'd be lucky to get a call back for a second round or even to be offered the job. So it's important to increase your chances by keep applying. So how do you do that is by setting a daily target. So maybe it can be the number of applications you send a day, or maybe it can be how many hours you want to spend on sending applications. Like for me personally, I didn't look at sending so many applications a day. I focus like every day for 2 hours, I'm going to just submit application. So for that 2 hours, that is my main goal. I'm going to be sitting down and doing that. So that's what I did, and thankfully it worked out for me.
Yeah, so
So that,
maybe I can
yeah,
add to that also. One good tip is apply to change the location to Singapore, change the location to Malaysia, to different towns in Malaysia, and apply for jobs. You'll be surprised, right? When you change the job to Singapore, you can look at opportunities there. Change it to Australia, and just don't be tied down with only one place when you're applying for jobs. Okay.
that's true. Thanks, bro. So when we move on now to the next point, which is learning to be agile. So in these terms, learning to be agile means being flexible in your skill set. Right? We live in a day and age where you can learn practically anything online. Right? So it's really, really important. If you notice in the chat as well, I've been replying a few questions there, and I keep mentioning how it's important to upskill yourself. Learn things that you normally wouldn't learn in university. Learn things that are out of your field. If you're an engineer, you're a mechanical engineer, learn how to do a little bit of coding. That would really help you. It makes you stand out. And the last thing I can say is stop starting and start finishing. Like, don't keep studying new skills, but you don't end up completing courses. Don't fill up an application halfway and then decide, oh, I don't think I'm going to apply for it. Just finish it, follow through, and complete it. Because if you don't complete it, if you don't finish, then you're practically just giving up, and we don't want that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the next question is on interview tips, and this is a really interesting segment, I would say, or interesting topic, because we have a lot of we have senior people here as well, like Mr. Michael, and I noticed we have a few more experienced people in the call as well. And at some point of their life, they would have either went for an interview or they would have conducted interviews, right? So I would like to think that I have been in both situations. In university, I've taken up leadership roles, so that requires me to also conduct interviews, and I was on the receiving end to also attend interviews, um, as you know from applying for jobs and whatnot. So if you move on to the next slide. So if you look at interview tips, right, these you see this everywhere. You see people talking about this all the time, right? And the reason why people talk about it, because it's true. The first main thing that you need to do is you always got to be confident, right? That is really, really important. So if you go for an interview, right, and if you aren't sure about something, let's say the panel asks you, so do you know something about this technology? Are you aware of this? Okay, if you are not aware, don't lie and say that yes, I am aware. And if they proceed to ask further, then you're screwed. So what you should do is say things like, I'm not familiar with this, or I'm not aware of this, but it's something I'm definitely going to look into. So it shows
Yeah.
that you're someone who is taking initiative, you're someone that's willing to learn. Okay, that's important. Next up, you want to always prepare beforehand. So this is super crucial. I've had quite a number of friends who go for interviews, right, with big companies, but they don't know what the company does. They don't know the background of the company.
Yeah.
It's really important. If you're going to go and apply for an oil and gas company, right? You need to, even if you're not a petroleum engineer, like in my case, I applied to an oil and gas company. I'm not a petroleum engineer, but I still needed to know a very basic thing about what the company does, what are the products the company offers, what business the company is in. So that's really important, to look into. I think you have a pop-up here.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So the next thing is always ask questions. It shows that you're intuitive, you're curious, you're someone who is interested in the role. So I know it can be really tough. Um, after you handle the entire interview, you think you did really well, and then when it comes to the last point, the panel will always ask you, the interview will always ask you, so do you have any questions for us? At that point, that is your next opportunity to still make a strong impression. But what you have to do, never say no at that point. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I've actually said no a couple of times, and that's probably the reason why I didn't get called back to those companies. But what I can say is I've learned from my mistakes, and it's important to always ask questions. Even if you're not sure what questions to ask, you can prepare those questions beforehand. Ask questions like, what is the job role about? So how does the company operate? What is the company's structure like, the team structure like? Those kind of things shows that you're someone who is interested in what the company does, how the structure of the company works like. So that's, have that in the back of your mind. Yes, and also back to the previous one about always preparing beforehand, right? So a very common question that employers like to ask is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What are
Yeah.
your strengths and weaknesses? So when you hear these questions, you shouldn't think about it before you answer because it's about yourself, right? So you should be able to just straight away give an answer. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Tell me about yourself.
Prepare
So
earlier lah.
correct, prepare earlier. And try your level best not to just spit out whatever is on your resume or CV because they already have it. So they already know your name, they already know your age. Um, Try to give them something different, like maybe a hobby or something fun about you, something different.
Rock climbing or something like that lah.
Yep,
Something interesting,
correct.
unique.
Yep. Okay, the next tip that I can give is always be honest. Um, that is really, really crucial. If you don't know something, just say point blank, I don't know this. Don't lie about it because to be very to be very honest, as a fresh graduate, I think Uncle Michael can also agree with me is what employers look at is not so much your technical competency, but it's more towards your attitude and your willingness to learn about things. So you can go in knowing nothing about what the job is required you to do, but within 6 months, if you're someone who's eager to learn, someone who's willing to learn, you can call yourself an SME in it. And not to toot my own horn or something, but that is exactly what happened to me. I joined the company knowing nothing about my role as a Linux administrator, the Linux analyst. In fact, I only knew that Linux was an operating system. I've never played with it. But now I'm a huge Linux fanboy. I have like Linux machines at home now, and in fact, I only use Windows to like play games with my friends. So yeah, things change. You have to be agile.
Yeah, absolutely right, Navin.
And next point is on personal grooming. So this can be a sensitive issue because when you apply for jobs in today's world, a lot of people say that we are an equal employer, we don't discriminate, which is true, which is good. Opportunities are given, but you also have to make sure that you look presentable and you look acceptable towards the job and the company. If you're going to apply for a startup, maybe the culture there is different. You have guys, shabby hair, walking around with hoodies, Starbucks in their hand. It's fine. Going for an interview like that, you can probably dress up that way as well because that's how the culture is. But if you're going to go and interview, for a government position or for a huge MNC that's been around for like 50, 60 years, the only thing that I can say is always dress to impress. Put on a tie, slap on a tie, put on a blazer, comb your hair, slick it to the back, anything to make sure that you look good and the people there know that, hey, this guy, he looking really sharp, we want that. Because don't forget, it's most of the time, it's not the younger folks that are interviewing you. It's going to be, I don't want to say older, so I'm going to say those with a little bit more wisdom, right? They are the ones that are going to be interviewing you. And we have to accept the fact that their train of thought is not as far as how we go, and they're not as flexible as we are. So um, when it comes to applying for jobs there in companies like that, personal grooming really does matter.
Yeah, you
Um,
may
I
you may ask yourself. A lot of Malaysians say this lah. I don't want to wear a suit because it's hot and all lah. Put it this way. I mean, you want to impress them in that 30 minutes interview, and you want to show that you have that business acumen. So this personal grooming matters. It shows you care for the company and you actually care for your job and you're taking your interview very seriously. That's a reflection of what employers have lah when they look at you dressing up for the
Correct.
interview.
Correct. And again, my next point, I want to reiterate that mindset matters. It's really the main thing that employers look at as a fresh graduate. You really need to be willing to learn. You must show them that you're someone who's willing to learn things, willing to accept new roles, new challenges. Um, that is the whole, that's the biggest thing about the interview. You need to convince them that you have the right mindset. And before you convince them that you have the right mindset, you need to convince yourself that you have the right mindset. So that's very important. You know, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be flexible. Um, yeah. And last but not least is learning to accept failures, right? You go for an interview. If you didn't get through, don't be sad. You have to persevere, be strong, and just keep applying and applying and applying. So we are really, I would say we're really unfortunate because we're in a time where market conditions are not very good. Um, we're not in an economy where it benefits employees. So regardless of that, we have to persevere and make sure that you keep applying. You know, if you've failed an interview, try to reflect back upon it. What can you improve about it? You know, things like that. That goes back to mindset again. So you need to have the willingness to change, the willingness to reflect back and see what's wrong and how can I improve myself. Um, another good thing, another good bonus tip that I can add on is don't be afraid to share personal stories during your interview. It shows that you're someone who is easy to communicate with. You're open. You know, body language matters. You know, don't cross your hands. It's common things you've probably heard before. I don't want to reiterate it again. But yeah, share personal stories. It's really important. So, fun fact, one of the reasons that I actually got that yes from my interviewer, right, is because I shared this really unique story back in university. So I'm going to share it with you guys now as well. So I still remember it was I think it was the end of my first year, right before my finals. Okay, so in university we have something called study week, which is 1 week before the final exams. You don't have classes; it's just time allocated to you to study. And at that point, my laptop, the hard drive completely crashed, right? So my
GG.
my operating system is dead, right? All my lecture notes are gone. Okay, I can't even turn on I mean, I can turn it on, but there's nothing there, right? So the only thing I could think of at that point was if those of you guys who've used Linux before, you know that you can install it on a pen drive and you can actually just plug it into your laptop and you can try out the operating system through the pen drive. So you have a full graphical interface, right, on your laptop, running all through a small pen drive. And I used to read my notes all through there, like because my notes are saved in the cloud, right? So I survived one entire week before I got my hard drive replaced. And I told my interviewers the story. And later on, she actually shared it with me one day when we went out for lunch. And she told me that, you know, Naveen, when you told me that story, that's when I realized, like, hey, I want this guy. You know, he shows that he can handle crisis management. So personal stories really do help. Don't be afraid to share it, but of course, don't be too personal. You know, gotta know what's suitable, what's not. Yeah. Yes, Mr. J. Ganaya also mentioned the same thing in the chat. He said, look for opportunities to tell stories. Interviewers connect easily to stories than flat date facts. That's very true. There's more empathy and connection. Because at the end of the day, you're a human, they're a human. We want to form that connection. Try to form that connection as well as you can. So let's move on to the next slide. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, feel free to shout it out. You know, you can ask over here. You can type it in the chat.
Maybe I can ask a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Uh,
I think we have some echo.
so just now, I have some echo. But I still have some echo. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, we
yeah,
can.
we can hear you.
Okay. Basically, people want to try a different industry, and there is also the conflict of uh, getting a lower pay at a company that gives a low starting pay. So how do we, how to say, um, coordinate all these different aims and put them together like, based on the information? And when we change industry, um, like say from engineering to finance, do we just accept any data entry job for the first 3 months and see how it goes, or how can we plan better when we want to do this adventurous things?
Okay, that's a good question. Navin, do you want to take this or do you want me to take this?
Okay, we can take it both actually. So I can give you my piece of advice first. So the beautiful thing about being a fresh grad is if you're in a situation where you don't really need to have the money involved, or you don't have heavy commitments like paying for a house or long-term commitments like that, then the beautiful thing about being a fresh grad is you have the flexibility to move and learn around with new jobs. So if you're jumping fields, the harsh reality is that you're probably going to get a pay reduction, or
Yep.
you're gonna start back from scratch, which is something you need to consider. If you don't have heavy commitments, then I guess that's fine. But if not, then you might want to think twice about it. But having the flexibility as a fresh grad is, I would say, one of the biggest advantage. So don't be
That's
afraid to do
the
that. Yeah.
that's the risk that you are willing to take when you are changing careers, because it may not be as lucrative as your previous job, but at the end of the day you will benefit in many other ways. If you really love that new industry, a few hundred ringgit more is not going to change a few things, because you're going to have a potential to make the next 10, 20 years of your life wonderful if you love your job. I've had so many of my friends who've moved out of engineering and into finance, and they just love it. They love being around banks, they love being around the movement of the financial world, and it keeps their heart beating and their
Blood
courage and
pumping. Yeah.
their soul. So I mean, at this juncture in your life, even though if it's the first 3 months of a data entry job, you'd be surprised at how you can impact your team and grow from there. The next opportunity and the potential to keep growing. Um, I hope that answered your question.
Uh, yes. Just that if somebody wants to take an engineering degree and go into a different industry, uh, maybe should this person try to take up some other, I don't know, diploma or certification program?
I feel that there are many courses online also, because a diploma or a degree program is also good, you know. But if you don't want to stack on the debt at that point, if you don't want to, get too much money, you could actually do a couple of courses or certifications online. You could get them on udemy.com, or you can get them on Coursera, all accredited by very, very established schools like MIT and Harvard and whatsoever. And you can use that as a step. My advice is that is to take the course first, like data science. A lot of people want to do data science, but I tell them don't jump into a master's program or diploma just yet. Take a few courses to see if you really like the course. It's a few USD, like maybe 15 USD, 30 USD. Just try it. If you like it and you want to pursue formal education later, you can. But if not, a certification from that is good enough. A lot of recruiters are considering that too when they hire.
Okay. So Brandon asked a question
I see.
on involvement of clubs and societies in uni, whether it's important or not. Should it be taken seriously or just also as in participation? So again, it really depends on you as an individual. I've had a lot of friends who joined many events organized in uni. So they were part of committee teams for about events in a lot of smaller projects. And we've also had a different group of people who stayed in one organization or one club and they grew there, took up leadership positions there. I'm personally the second one there. I stayed in one club and I tried to grow myself in that club. Both both are really good. Both options are really good because it shows that not only you're someone that not only focuses on academics, but you're someone who is able to balance time as well. Take up other leadership opportunities. So to really answer your question, I would say yes, it plays a big role actually. So go out there and join as many things as you can, but make sure it doesn't impact your grades as well. Because at the end of the day, your grades are still, I would say, the most important thing. That is your ticket to getting that interview, to letting them say yes.
Involvement in clubs and societies at a young age is free management practice and experience. You get to be a leader, you get to lead your own team, no resources, like, okay, I need this project done. So you have some project management experience. It's good to learn this early in your life. So when you come into the working world later on, if they give you a project, you're not left unsure. You have some idea, okay, I need to do this by Wednesday, this by Friday, and by next Monday my presentation is ready. That exposure is what you have in your clubs and societies in uni. Yeah. And it also teaches you to work interdependently from different departments. You have your ticketing department, your marketing department, your corporate department. You have your events department in a club. So if you are a member there or a leader, you need to talk to the different leaders and learn to collaborate with them. Very important skill from university students. Yeah. Okay, do we have any other questions? Let's see.
Yeah, I think we didn't mention about certification. Yeah, about certification, and I think certification actually helps a lot in, especially in LinkedIn. If you share your certification, right, not only does it grow your network, expand your outreach, right, but the recommended jobs that will be related to you through the LinkedIn algorithm will also change based on the certification you have. So it's I would say it's good because new opportunities come out once you've been certified. So that's one way to go about it. Yeah.
I saw a question on personal grooming and obesity, and the legs and all that. So, um, so I guess my question is, we need to have show a lot of sports activity in our resume, perhaps, to show people that the recruiters that we're active, whatever is our appearance. Would that be helpful?
Okay, first and foremost, I strongly believe that recruiters should never body shame a person. If that question does come up, don't worry about it. That's actually wrong on the human resource perception of doing things. But I feel that, like what my brother said, confidence is very important. It's how you must be comfortable with yourself, regardless of however you look like. I told myself, guys, I don't look like Shah Rukh Khan. I will never look like Shah Rukh Khan, guys. But you need to understand that you individually bring a different set of your own talents. You bring your personality, your grades, your caliber. And look at this inquisitiveness that you even asked me this question. It shows that you are you know proactive. So this is what candidates will enjoy. I mean, sorry, recruiters will enjoy. So I mean, there's no right answer to show that you have a sports or curriculum to show that you have to validate yourself in front of the recruiters. No such thing. Um, Professionally, um, they will base their judgments on your resume. Okay.
Hi, Jay here. Can I just add on into that?
Sure. Sure.
Sorry. Okay. To answer, actually, I posted the message in the chat group regarding grooming. I felt it was a discrimination on my student. I mean, the interviewer on my student part, as well as. But I always advise my students this: don't open yourself to discrimination. Don't give a point of access to discrimination on what you write in your CV or your resume, on how you appear during the interview. Believe it or not, as much as they say Malaysia is a multiracial country and so on, it is still very racist. Okay, on every race, they're still very racist. Believe me on that, right? So when you go there, you do not want to give a chance to be discriminated because of something that they didn't like. So in this case, that student was wonderful. She's very good academically, co-curriculum, also academic. She's good with management skills and all that. But health-wise, she was obese. I believe she went with a skirt on, right? Thus exposing her legs. Okay, so the interview, I was surprised because the CEO of the company is a good friend of mine. But he didn't conduct the interview. He was in China. His staff conducted the interview, and therefore, this is what the staff identified. They said one of the main reasons is that as they interviewed her, they saw her legs. It indicated that she might have some kind of illness like diabetic or other kind of issues, and therefore they didn't want to take a risk in hiring her. For me, it was discriminative and many other issues,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
as Naveen said, body shaming. But they did not tell it to her. It was just an observation, and they rejected on that basis. The CEO told me because I was a friend to his, he explained to me, so that I told him that I can prepare my students even better in future, right? So I always advise my students, don't allow yourself to be open to discrimination, right? You go there with, for example, Christians, you wear a big cross in front, outside your shirt, and then you walk out, you will say, okay, why is this person trying to show, or what is he trying to indicate during the interview? It is not necessary to show the cross to show that you are a Christian. You don't have to, Muslims who go with hijab cover their full face. And is it necessary? There are many other things. Hindus who go for meet interviews, they put the prayer ash on the forehead. So when you go on the extreme side, then you open yourself for discrimination. Say, will this be an issue later on when they join a company, right? So let's be what you call moderate in our appearance. Okay. After the interview, you get hired, you do whatever you want to. That's a different thing. The aim of the interview is to get experience, another is to get employed,
Yes,
right?
that's true. Yeah.
That is why I highlighted it here, because that interview outcome was a big eye opener to myself, and I now teach my students about not opening yourself for discrimination, unnecessary discrimination, even though the company might declare whatever they want to. Right? Just thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Jay,
Jay.
thank you for sharing with us. Yes. And it's also good that you spoke to your students about this also. And first, my advice to the students is don't take it personally. This is something that you know should never happen in the first place. But unfortunately, that is the status quo. It's happening, and we have to take collective steps to work around it. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes. Hi, Zach.
I want to ask a question. Uh, if the what do you call it, candidate has a mental illness,
Okay. Yes.
should he or she, disclose that during the interview? Will there be discrimination? You know, that's all.
Okay. So I'm a believer that mental illness is a serious issue. It must be. It is affecting a lot of Malaysians these days. Okay. Um, but I understand that if there is a requirement to declare this, I would advise you to declare it, right? Um, but because apart from hiding it, it's not the best thing to do to hide any details about you, whether it is a physical or a mental illness. You must declare it, if you are asked in a form or whatsoever. But My advice is if it doesn't affect your employment, you should also let your employer know that I'm taking steps to address this issue and it doesn't affect my employment, as you can see by my grades and etc and stuff like this. But if you ask me, if the question doesn't pop up, I don't think it's a necessity to
Bring it
tell,
up.
yeah, to bring it up in the first place. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's something that you face. If you hide it and then you face it 6 months later in the company, it's going to come back and not affect anyone else, but it will affect you. You always have
Yeah,
to.
be as honest as possible,
and
when you're
and I
going
know
for an
many
interview.
and I know many companies who are now doing CSR projects, corporate social responsibility projects on mental illness. In fact, in HP, I was involved in a project where we had to help the employees, especially during this COVID time for mental illnesses. So don't worry, there are many companies now that are opening up to this idea of mental illnesses, and don't worry about it. Okay.
Uh, it's not a mental illness on my part. It's more like a genetic hypothyroidism. Thyroidism. Should I say that?
Sorry, is this question for Zain or Teddy?
Uh, in general, it's just a disease. So should I disclose it?
Yeah, so most employers will ask you to declare your health status, whether you have health complications or not. So when you're doing that, be honest and just declare, because in the future, if that comes up and that is something that will affect your work, then it might lead to more complications on HR side, your side. So if you ask me, it's not worth it. If you need to declare something, be honest and just declare. If
Yeah,
let's say they don't give you the job because of that, then it doesn't look good on the employer, and ask yourself, do you want to be working for a company that treats the employees like that?
yeah,
That's
that's true.
my view about it. Yeah.
And don't worry, when one door opens, sorry, when one door closes, another door will open.
Yes. I think it is proper to be honest. I just don't know when is the proper timing to do the honesty. When like after the interview or when I'm writing my CV or what?
Um, I, I think these things shouldn't concern you when you're writing a resume. Uh, but sorry, there's a bit of an echo here. I think it's because you're on loudspeaker, maybe. Right, okay. So, okay, like I said, you shouldn't have to bring it up, not unless you are asked in a form, in declaration form, like when you're joining the company. And most employees are not supposed to make that decision about you, because they're supposed to make a decision on you based on your professional qualification. So if you are facing an issue with one particular employer, don't worry. There are many employers out there, but it's good for you to remember that, okay, this is the possible issue that you'll be facing with this employer. So if you ask me when is the right time to declare, I think you should only declare when you are asked.
Yep. Because you don't want to be providing them information that is not relevant at that point of time. If you're going for a job regarding I don't know, finance, you don't be going and telling them that, hey, I'm a professional golfer and I have won many golf tournaments, and no relevance there, right? So yeah, only declare if you need to. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, let's look at a few other. Thank you guys for all these questions. I can see that it's coming really deep from your hearts. It's an important question that you want to address, and we're giving our opinions. I think we can take a few more questions. Yeah, I think Jay has mentioned also, don't declare weaknesses or illnesses in your CV unless you're telling a story on how you overcame it with strong will, grit, and determination. That's a very good response,
Yep.
actually. Yeah. You know, you turn a negative situation into a positive one. That shows you have perseverance. That shows that you, regardless if they throw you into the blender, you can come out still strong, you know. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah.
Okay, so Yao Uni sent me a message, but I think she sent it privately, so I'm not sure if you guys can see it. The question is, as a fresh grad, she or he would like to have a gap year or volunteer work overseas. If this causes a big gap on the resume from an irrelevant field back to a related industry, will there be a problem from the employers? What is your comments on this? So, Anna, do you
Can you
want to
repeat
take
the
this?
question? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so she or he would like to have a gap year or volunteer work overseas. If this causes a big gap on the resume from an irrelevant field back to a related industry, will there be a problem from the employers, from the employer's perspective? Like, what is your comments on this?
Okay, so many companies do offer a gap year, yes, but you also have to understand that if you do take a gap year, the job market is extremely competitive. Okay, so you run the risk of your job being replaced by someone else. Okay, so but if you feel that you're ready to take that risk of the gap year, you feel you really need 1 year away to really learn about yourself, to unwind and learn a new skill whatsoever. It's a choice that you can take, but there is no guarantee that when you come back to your company, you will have that same job again. And
I think the beauty about being a fresh grad here in Malaysia, right, is that you're classified as a fresh grad maybe for the first 3 years of your employment life, and not just the first year. So all fresh graduate related jobs will still apply to you for the first 3 years.
yeah, you can be
But
24,
yeah,
26, 28. Also, you can still be considered a fresh graduate. So if you take a gap year before that, also it doesn't matter. You can start off earlier.
yep. So, so Naveen Raj posted a question saying that when I apply in JobStreet, there is a section where you can write a few sentences to the employer apart from the resume. What should I write there to leave an impression on the recruiter?
Um,
So do you want to take it or should I?
Naveen, you take it, lah, Naveen. From
Okay.
Naveen to Naveen, lah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Naveen. So, what I used to do back when I was applying for it is I would never leave it empty. But for each job, so I would have like a template of what to say first, like, how I'm a hardworking candidate, interested to explore more skills, to upskill myself, but also try to relate it to the job that you're applying for. So you add a bit of a personal touch there. You don't want to make it sound too general, but I don't know if that actually really helps, but don't take the chance in not writing something there. So just keep sending in the applications and keep writing down something at that portion of it.
Okay, so we have
So
another.
yep.
Okay, we have another question. Hi, will employers consider fresh grads that have more leadership experience in a workplace over leadership experience on curriculum? Well, ultimately, any leadership counts, okay? But if you happen to have lead, because you are applying for work, applying for a job, so I think leadership from a workplace does have a higher ranking versus curriculum, But then again, it can be different. You could be a leadership, you could be a leader in your Toastmasters team, and that would mean you give fantastic presentations. And if the job is looking for a person to give presentations and business meetings, then you will stand out there because of curriculum. So the highlight here is leadership in any position would be good. Yeah, whether it's in the workplace or in curriculum. Okay, we have another question from Muhammad Hakimi. Okay, is it okay to say no when an employer asks a question when we don't know anything regarding the question, or give our opinion about the question despite misleading the question? So I feel that Naveen, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So I personally said no a lot of times actually in interviews. But like I mentioned earlier, always try to turn it into a positive statement instead of a don't leave it at no, because that is like you're leaving it at a negative point of view. Change it into a positive point of view, saying no, I haven't heard of it, or no, I'm not sure, but it's something I will consider looking into. It's something I will look into, or you can even say it's something I've heard of, but I'm not sure of it. You know, because
And
um,
and
yeah,
a good tip is like if you don't know something, you can say no, I'm not sure. Um, I'm not too sure about this, but I will get back to you on this matter. You know, and then please make sure you get back to them lah. You know, you can skip 20 minutes on Instagram or 20 minutes on Netflix, you know, to actually research about the topic and then get back to the person regarding these facts lah. Because it's very important. It shows that you are taking this seriously. So and another good thing is Hakimi, I want to tell you is if you say no, you are not sure, it shows that you are not a yes man. It shows that okay, I don't know this, I'm human, but I'm taking the effort to get to know this, you know. And when your employers actually see that you are getting to know this, it's important. Yeah. It shows that you are proactive in your own way. Okay, hope that answered the question. Do we have any more questions here?
yeah. So Naveen just got another question. Sometimes there will be adverts on jobs with the HR email. So when I send an email for the job application, what should I include in the email apart from introduction and resume? This always has been a problem for me as an email. I try to keep it not too long, so limited things to be written.
um
Mm. Do you want to take it? Yeah.
okay, I can take it. So my advice is if you want a good email template for reaching out to HR, okay, there are plenty of them on Google also. You know, a lot of them out there. It just takes a couple of researching tools whatsoever. But like I understand, most of these probably are for the US market or not for the Malaysian market lah. So my advice is you know, when you construct your email, okay, that what you find for a global market is also very very good. So you can use that and make sure you change your details to make it more Malaysian kind of experience like make sure you put your internship, what you learned from it, and etc. And don't make it an essay, because recruiters really don't like that. Your resume is enough to tell your full story. An email like that will probably be like, "Hi recruiter, I saw your job posting on this. I am a graduate from University Malaya or something, and I am applying for this position." And make sure in your email subject you have the job name and your name. So that way, when the recruiters look at it, it's like, "Oh, okay, I got a new candidate for this." Email subjects are very important. And a lot of people asked me the importance of a cover letter. Some people say, I know a lot of people will be like, to write a cover letter may take a lot of time, but it's worth it because recruiters will know exactly what you want in your cover letter, that you're looking for a 10-week internship or a 3-month internship or a 6-month internship. They know what kind of experiences you had. They know you are an intern in another company before this. They know you are on track with this degree, and they know what you are expecting to grow out of. So you give the recruiter everything in the cover letter. So the main email is clean. It's just a few sentences, cukup, and then you sign off, maybe and you put your attachments there. That will help recruiters a lot.
All right, Naveen and Vinod, thank you so much. Unless there's further questions from anyone else, I believe everyone has learned a lot, right? And I will really encourage everyone to keep in touch. Naveen and Vinod has so kindly, I guess, given their LinkedIn contact with a QR code here. Please scan it Yeah, please scan it so that you can continue to keep in touch with them, because we don't want to hold, because it's going to be 12:30 very soon. We are already over the time. So that you can continue the conversations with them if you need to, learn from each other, get tips from them, get some mentorship even from, we have Dr. J, who has very kindly participated in a lot of questions by writing on the chat as well. So before anything else for me, for one last questions for Vinod and Naveen? If it's not, do we say any more questions? We should be closing it right now. Okay, before I hand it over to Salvin to close it, I just want to share just one or two slides, just to recap what has been shared. Yeah, just two slides what has been shared by both Naveen as well as Vinod just now. Can you see my screen right now? Quickly.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I think Vinod in the beginning spoke about know what you want, and as well as be very clear, right? So whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So I think a lot of us probably didn't use our mind enough, that there's a lot of things in life that you do need to think about, you do need to conceive it before you can actually achieve it. Yeah. So I would encourage everyone to continue to read up in terms of how you can actually use your mind better to achieve what you want to achieve in your career as well as in your life journey. And the other one, I think Vinod and Naveen both mentioned in terms of how you need to be able to learn again. Alvin Toffler, if you have, those of you who have not heard about him, he once said the illiterate of the 21st century, which is the century we're living right now, will not be those who cannot read and write, but will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So I think you heard many times both Naveen, both Vinod has talked about how they actually unlearn and relearn of what they have learned before. So just remember this too. And then last one, I'm just going to, since tomorrow is a Mother's Day, right? So for those of you who appreciate your moms, because even for me, when I hire, I like to see a candidates who appreciate their family, because that shows what type of candidates you are. If someone who doesn't even cares about your own family, how much do you think you'll care about your company? So remember that very well, because as recruiters, as employers, we will be also looking at you as a person. What type of person are you? Are you someone who is so selfish that just think about yourself, not even about your family, not about even your mom and dad? I don't want to have this type of person in my company at all. And remember, for United States of America, he once said, "All that I am or hope to be, I owe to my angel mother." So tomorrow is a Mother's Day. So please take this opportunity to say thank you, to be grateful to what your mom and even your family has done for you throughout your journey. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to thank you so much again for Vinod and Naveen for so wonderfully shared their journey, also their experience, their advice. But do keep in touch with them. Yeah. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Vinod. All right, over to Savin.
All right, all right. Okay, first of all, thank you to Mr. Vino and Mr. Naveen. And on a personal aspect, this is one of the best webinars I've ever attended. I learned a lot, and I'm pretty sure
Thanks.
a lot of us
Thank
also
you.
we can do that. And let's give a big round of applause, lah. What a great time, man. I really enjoyed my Saturday morning, learning, doing something productive. And now let's thank to all our participants for today. So thanks once again, guys, for joining us this morning. We hope you have enjoyed our webinar, hosting it, and we as a group enjoy hosting it. And one more, please change your name in WebEx to your original name, because we want to print out the certificate. Please don't have name like Batman, Superman. All right, so change your name. And also, I don't want to, let's not forget, join our JNI group. You can see the QR code right here. Yes, scan it, join it, because we'll be posting a lot more webinar session in upcoming months, upcoming weeks. You guys can join. It'll be as great as this. So thank you. And yeah, I just want to end with a quote. like what Mr. Naveen said, code makes everything looks professional. So remember, and in every crisis lies great opportunity. I don't know that's from who, but I'm going to claim it. That's from me. So that's from Sarvi Menon. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys in our next webinar, guys. Keep the spirit up, stay safe, stay quarantined. And thank you. Terima kasih, Shasha, yeah, and Andre. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. All right.
All
Have
right.
a
Thank
good
you,
day.
Naveen. Thank you, Vinod.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone, for joining. Thank you. We'll see you
Bye
again.
bye now.
All right. Take care. Keep well.
No real place to stay. Is this the future? And where I'm gonna be?